Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel. We're here to discuss today's match as Celtic won 2-1 at Easter Road. I'm joined by Liam and Alistair to go over the game. Liam, it was a game that we were kind of in control of, but the second half got quite nervy at points.
It did, but it was all about the result, and we managed to get that result. But as you said, we were very nervy, and Martin O'Neill's 100% record continues. So delighted with the result, but performance was a bit shady today. But aye, it is what it is.
Alistair, the performance for me, it was kind of like a tale of two halves. I thought we started the game really slow, but then we went into the game, and then you got the two goals. You're just looking for us to kick on in that kind of second half, but it was pretty dire to watch that second half for me.
Aye, the forward line is our trouble, Josh. There's nobody that can. We've no got a goal threat. I know we've scored a lot of goals under Mark, but a lot of them, if you think about it, aren't coming for the striker. So, and I think that's a big issue. But I thought we had a lot of the ball, but not really doing a lot with it. That was my issue with the performance in the second half.
I think I don't know what you think of this, but I thought obviously when Hibs got the goal back, we just seemed completely rocked by it. Obviously we're going to how Hibs get back into the game a bit later on, but I think we were just looked a bit rocked by it. Liam, the team was I think was near enough the same from Thursday night. McCowan started on the right, and then Engels, McGregor, Hatate in the kind of the midfield role.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make it? Because I thought players like Arne Engels had another really good standout game today. I thought it was.
I thought Engels was great, mate. See for his goal, I thought he was really, really brave. A lot of players could have ducked out that, but he done excellent to get the touch on it for the header, and obviously takes like a boot to the nose a wee bit, didn't he? But I think Martin O'Neill's actually managed to get a balance in the midfield with Hatate, McGregor, and Engels. I think Engels has been like a different player under O'Neill. Same with Rio. I actually thought Rio in spells today was good. And I thought Calmack was just his normal, usual self. And I thought McCowan was quite poor at times. I thought he should have done better for that kind of 1-on-1 when he could have even took it around the keeper and slotted it. He panics a wee bit, doesn't he, and just sticks a leg out and it hits off the keeper. But I thought he wasn't great today. But again, he's kind of played out of position at the moment, so you need to kind of cut him some slack there. But the midfield's looking much, much stronger. And Engels, as you said, he was. I thought he was excellent today, to be honest.
I've always said for a while that I didn't think one of my only criticisms of Brendan Rodgers was I didn't think he was getting enough out of Arne Engels for what he was, what he's good for. I think Martin was kind of been able to. It's a lot stronger and a bit more bite to him. He's daft fouls away sometimes, but you're going to get that. I don't mind that as much, but he's got a bit of bite to him, and he's trying to kind of turn into kind of a box to box midfielder, but he's trying to go, into the opposition box and maybe becoming a goal scoring threat.
My opinion is Martin O'Neill said to him, "You've been too nice." And matter of fact, scrap that. I think he's said that to the whole team because you can see the personality coming out the team. I mean, Yang was okay today, but at least you're starting to see a wee bit more consistency. Maybe not in performance, but in terms of personality, 1-to-1, a wee bit of fight. And I'll tell you something else, we're no as easy played through either through the middle of the park. See if that was Rodgers, one ball that midfield would have been overrun, in my opinion. And
aye, we were awfully soft, weren't we?
Yeah, aye, very soft.
You mentioned Yang there as well. Liam, I thought he had another really good game, but he's not really doing anything extraordinary, but he's having a go at player. And I think that was one of my main issues with Rodgers when it came to wingers, especially this season. They were getting to the byline or they were getting the ball and just kind of passing the buck to somebody else. But Yang, to be fair to him, is having a go. We obviously know his capabilities can limit him sometimes, but he's, as I said on after the game on Thursday, he keeps going and he keeps trying to make something happen.
He's so direct, isn't he? He's so direct. It's great. And even when he cuts in now, you're starting to think that when he shoots, something could actually happen. Whereas I hate going back all the time, but under Rodgers, he was just a bit nervy. And as you said, I think they were probably told to pass the ball back and just be that kind of safe team all the time. But I think O'Neill's gave him the license to make a mistake, which is probably reassuring for Yang. Because if you've got the license off, Martin O'Neill to make that mistake, well, he's told you it's all right. So if you do make it, at least you're trying to be positive. Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
There's nothing worse than if he's been negative all the time and then he passes it back, makes a mistake, and then that's where the whole negativity comes from it. But Martin O'Neill done this with Bobby Pater years ago as well. Turned him into like a world.
With Liam, I was going to say, Martin O'Neill's worked wonders. The same he did with Bobby Pater.
Aye, mate, exactly. And he's just... He's just such a good man-manager. I think he's brilliant at that, just giving you that confidence that you need. And I think his team talks must be excellent. I'd love to be a fly in the wall, do you know what I mean? But I thought Yang's just been very direct, and it's exactly what Yang needs. Yang just needs that license, you know what I
mean? Aye. Alistair, in terms of the goals, obviously two came in quite quick fashion, both of them. The first goal, Hibs make an absolute mess. It's similar to the goal on Thursday night. Kind of Maida presses the goalkeeper, the muddle itself up, and Hatate actually. Then Maida puts the ball at the back of the net, and then the second goal, it's really good play. The build-up's really good. I think it's Hatate that starts it, plays it in Sriracha. He was really good today as well.
Yeah, he always seemed to be like a spare man, because he was getting a lot of room down the left-hand side. And see, to be honest, I keep banging the drum. I'd sign Sriracha. I think he's a brilliant player. So if we could do a deal, obviously we don't know what Wilfred Nance's style is going to be, but I would be certainly looking to do a deal in January if possible.
Not the same.
No, I think he's been solid. I think I did pick up on as well. I think he's always been. It seemed like an extra. It seemed like what Greg Taylor was doing last season, where he was kind of inverting into the midfield, being that extra option for the midfield to kind of play off, and that's Hatate goes kind of deep, does a really nice ball in the corner, and then we broke Hibs' press, and then we're kind of able to get into the box, and then obviously Yang puts a good cross, and then Engels is brave and puts the header at the back of the net. Then we could have probably sealed it before half time. Sriracha has a shot that cannons off the post.
That was a good move.
I know it was another good move, but then second half, Liam, you're just wanting them to continue that. It didn't really transpire that way, unfortunately. It just kind of looked.
This was always going to happen, I think. See Easter Road, see if you don't get that third goal. That's why I was gutted. See when that ball, it kind of hits across it and it hits the post. I'm thinking to myself, that might come back to haunt us, because those chances, Celtic we've been renowned for that recently, just no taking our chances and then making the second half nervy. And I felt that's how it panned out. I think the pressure at Easter Road, and obviously we've not got a great record there, so that probably played on a few of the players' minds. But I mean, you go over the line. Hibs did have a few chances, didn't they? I can't even think second half. I think Schmeichel made a couple of good saves, one with his foot, didn't he?
Aye, there was one with his foot.
Chris Card,
Aye, so he done well. Schmeichel's brilliant at that. See when he comes out and he's like his dad there a wee bit. He does like the Schmeichel sprawl thing and he makes himself huge. He's brilliant at that. See for we'll come on to the penalty in that anyway. But I thought we kind of just scraped it. We're very nervy in the second half.
We may as well discuss it, because it's been the penalty kick. I mean, I don't really know what to say anymore when it comes to handball, because I genuinely don't. I don't have a clue what a handball is now. I don't know really what it is.
Nick Walsh-Lobsky in a handball against Celtic, didn't he? That's the last twice he's done it. No that I'm saying it's corrupt or anything, but it's just the last twice. Seems to be something about Easter Road for some reason. You had the Alan Muir stuff, and then now you've had this, but No, I honestly thought, where can he put his hand? I know we
Aye.
discussed it before coming on, but where can he put his hand?
Aye. The current rules at this point, Liam, are that convoluted in terms that there's so many factors that's into a penalty, a handball. Now it's just you don't really know what's a penalty and what isn't. Like the one we got at Kilmarnock a few weeks ago, for me that isn't a penalty kick.
No.
And I don't know if there's no similarities to that, but I don't really know what is a penalty kick now. I genuinely question it seriously. There's no clear rule to say, right, that's a handball in the box.
Because it's subjective, isn't it? And see as well, you know what they should do? They won't do this, but see any handball then in the box, it should just be a penalty and make it simple. Any sort of handball, doesn't matter, close proximity, anything. Because see all this what we're talking about. Obviously, if you've played the game, you understand why things like that. For me, that shouldn't be a penalty. And I might say that because I'm a Celtic fan, right? But I'm trying to look at it and not be biased. Where is his hand to go? Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the ball's coming over, he's getting ready to head it away. It's dropping after the defender, and his arm is out. But all this natural, unnatural. For me, I don't. How does that even come into it? But I am getting a bit scunnered. I knew they were actually going to give it
You could tell,
straight away. And then he goes to the monitor. You know, fine well what's going to happen.
Aye.
I just couldn't believe the thing that annoys me by this rule. That's not a clear and obvious error. It's almost as if they need to justify VR getting involved.
Aye. I've always said that I think VR in this country gives referees a comfort blanket. I think it's like, right, doesn't matter if I make, a dodgy decision or a thing where I can go to VAR and I can have a look again, which part of people might say that's what it was brought in with, to an extent, I agree. But now I just think that it's like there's more errors being made than there was before VAR was brought into Scottish football. I don't know if any's agree with that, but it just looks like to me, it's just like there's a lot more errors happening and the rules have just became that complicated because of VAR.
I honestly think, Josh, it's the people that's running it. I don't think they're competent at all. I think we've got the diet VAR as well, haven't we? We've not got the VAR.
The Poundland VAR, I call it.
We've not got the VAR the Premier League have got, and that gives them another excuse to be extra crap. And I just feel as if, as you said, referees rely on it. So if they make a mistake, they'll probably think to themselves, "Don't worry, in a couple of seconds, I'll get a notification here to let me know to stop the game." And blah, blah, blah. And they talk about they don't want VR to re-referee the game, but that's exactly what it's doing.
Aye.
I'm going to be honest. Sorry, just before we move on. I'm going to be honest and say, if that's no given, nobody's going to have some nut.
No.
No, I'd probably tend to agree. And I think it's good if I take my green tinted specs off for a sec. I just think that I think just the whole of Scottish football and that Celtic, Rangers, Hibs, Hearts, Aberdeen, I just think that you're getting a dodgy decision a week in the league. You're always seeing a dodgy decision. I think look at Hibs and St Mirren a few weeks ago. It was a dodgy decision. Then you look at it, St Mirren and Hearts in that midweek game. There was St Mirren get a perfectly good goal chopped up. It's just and I always say this. You can bring all the technology in as you want, but it's still the same people that are refereeing. As you said, Liam, still the same people that are refereeing it. And we've always said, I think the whole Scottish football are unanimous in this. Referees in this country aren't good at their job, in my opinion. And that's just the way.
Totally agree, mate. And see this as well, them going full time, that actually gives me the fear. That they go full time. I honestly don't think they're good enough. And I understand if they go full time, they'll have more time to practice their trade and all that sort of thing. I just don't trust them. And I'm not even talking about conspiracies about this and that. Again, that's a different story for a different day. But I don't trust them. They aren't good at their job. And it just goes back to the whole thing that the mistakes are weekly. And I think it gives Super Scoreboard something to talk about. I don't know if they're in cahoots with them or something like that, but it just gives them something to talk about most weeks, you know what I mean?
Aye.
It's not been a bad weekend. No, I worked full time.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
good.
beauty.
It's good. That's
Get in
good.
there.
Um, no, but the one major bit of concern for me in the game was that right back area. It's really concerning me. Obviously we know Alistair Johnson's gone. I don't know if when he'll, but I'm assuming
He's
it's a long.
basically out the rest of the season, mate.
With,
March or something. Huh?
I don't know because I don't think Ralston's good enough. I think he's shit, to be honest. If you want my honest opinion on it, Donovan's also young and raw. I thought he struggled today, but you kind of expect that after playing a big game on Thursday, and you could probably say this about a lot of the team, and that's credit to them. They've managed to get the result and grind the result out, as we were saying. But that right back area for me, Alistair, I don't. Would you be looking in January for something? Because I just
I
it's
think
a
you need to
concern.
be. You need to be because I like Kobe Donovan. I think he's raw, but you can't rely on him between now because let's be honest, guys. We kind of discussed what what have a chance in free competitions at the moment, or we're going to be in free competitions. So I think you need at least. I think you need cover all over the place. To be honest with you, because because I think we're so light, it's untrue. And I think, to be honest, if it wasn't for an experienced manager coming in, I think it would have told. I think Martin O'Neill's that good a man manager that he's papering over the cracks with a lack of squad depth he's got.
What would you think about the right back position, though? Because
I agree. I think January's massive. I think you need to get somebody in. I'm actually a fan of Tony Ralston in terms of he's from Airdrie, I'm from Airdrie, that sort of thing. I just love the commitment, the energy,
you like
the
my
whole.
pal, then you like one of my pals because he's.
But
He's the only
this,
one that likes Ralston. And I mean like Ralston, he's got a thing
A
about
man
Tony
crush on him.
one of the ones.
Man
I've not got a man crush. No, I wouldn't go that far. But I do really like him. But see lately, I don't know what it is. I think it's facing Mun game or whatever. But he's been hopeless. And I think he struggles when he comes on. See when he came on for Kobe Donovan, he struggles to get up to speed with the game. I've
Aye.
always noticed that with Ralston. He always struggles with that. He's actually all right. See if he starts a few games in a row and he gets in a rhythm. I actually feel as if he's all right, and I think Postecoglou will get the best out of him. But he's deteriorating into it, and I think it's time maybe in the next year or whatever, maybe to see if we can do a deal and move him on. But he's because he's Scottish and it's the quota scenario. That's why he's there in it. Let's be honest. But I would look for somebody in January.
Let's be honest. If Tony Ralston left the Mora and it wasn't the homegrown rule, nobody would be asked. If they're being completely honest with themselves, I suppose you could say that about the majority of this squad, really, and the majority of the homegrown guys. But he's a box ticked. At the end of the day, that's what Ralston is, and I'm sorry if that's harsh and I'm slaughtering him, but I have to say, I've never been a fan. Josh knows that.
Because a Celtic fan and that, innit? I've got a wee soft spot for him, but as the games go on, it starts to dwindle a wee bit. But Kobe Donovan had a really good game, really positive game during the week, but he's one of those ones, you can probably see that happening. He's a young lad, inconsistency. That was always going to happen today, in my opinion. But as he gets a bit older and experienced, that hopefully will change, because he's definitely got talent, Kobe Donovan.
Aye.
Definitely.
No, definitely. Alistair, before the game, we then found out that this wasn't going to be Martin O'Neill's final game in charge, because the board have took even longer to try and get the whole kind of Wilfred Nancy paperwork, whatever it's done. I hope it's just paperwork, nothing else, because if it's out there serious, I'd be a bit concerned here. But right, I've not really got it's just confirming we already knew. This board take forever to do anything, right? Honestly, I think only what weekends, to be honest. But but the thing is, right, and this is Martin O'Neill's done a fantastic job, right, and he's done brilliant. He's come in, steadied the ship, and done what he was brought into doing probably more. Got us to a League Cup final. He has cut the gap in the league. He's got his back in with a shout with the European stuff. And obviously he's going to get the Wednesday night game. Now I thought that if he could get Nansen by Wednesday, it'd be a perfect game for him to kind of just, get his first game. It's Dundee at home. Good game to come into. Now we're realistically looking at Wilfred Nancy coming in, and his first game is Hearts at home at Celtic Park, which is, first versus second. Then you've got Roma in the Europa League to try and, keep our chances up in European. And then you've got the League Cup final. I'm a bit pissed off at the board because they've realistically gave him an absolute mammoth task with the 3 games.
I definitely, mate. But the only thing I will say, and I don't want to bring politics into the podcast, but the problem is if they're saying it's paperwork, what can you do? He's coming for America. We're not in the EU, and if he does need a work permit, I know we don't like giving the board the benefit of the doubt, but you kind of have to. If they're saying that's the reason, they would know.
I think it's probably money. I think they're probably holding off to, is it the 1st or 2nd of December, to maybe save a few bob in compensation. I don't trust this board at all. Anything to save money.
It wouldn't surprise me. I just wouldn't
surprise me either. But I don't think the deal's in doubt. I think it will be him. It's just it sounds as if we're wishing Martin O'Neill away, but the longer he stays, the less time you've got to get organised with a transfer window. Because Martin O'Neill's not going to be here by the time the January transfer window starts, I think. But none of this, it wouldn't surprise me with this board, to be honest with you.
Well, maybe I'm being naive here, but I certainly hope that he's doing some. I know there was reports coming out that he's doing some work behind the scenes with the scouts already. He needs to be doing it because he's realistically going to be 2-3 weeks away from a massive window where he needs to try and get some of his own players and own personnel in. So hopefully that is the case. I've got severe concerns that we want a manager as soon as possible, and it's getting to, I think, 5 weeks. That's nearly 2 months without a permanent manager at Celtic. It's getting to that point where, I'm looking at it and going, right, Martin O'Neill is getting a tune out of the players, and he is getting a tune out of, he's, as you were talking about how he's elevated some players' games. I've got a real fear that, you're putting a manager in for a game against Hearts, for instance. Well, we need to win it to try and get back up the top of the league and whatever else. When he's got a completely different style, and I've just got concerns with those 3 games because they're 3 massive games he's coming into, basically.
Yeah. And the board will put him in that position.
Aye. So I've just got a wee bit of concern. No with Nancy himself, just when he's coming in, because I just don't want it to unsettle kind of the rhythm. We've got a wee bit of a rhythm going at the moment. We've got some tunes at a player.
If there was any game but for him to come in, I think it was Dundee during the week.
That's what I thought.
That's what's a wee bit frustrating. Listen, see the longer Martin O'Neill stays, the more I want him to stay, because I love Martin O'Neill. Do you know what I mean? It's just nostalgic, selfish reasons probably, but I think the guy's second to none. And I actually kind of hoped he would stay for the cup final, and again, probably just a selfish reason, but it's a great thing for maybe Nancy, whatever, to come in and get his first trophy. But see this waiting about, man, it's starting to annoy me. As you see that, what's that, 5 weeks?
5 weeks it would be until you've got a permanent manager.
Well, when was the Hearts game? Because remember, Rodgers left the day after.
So Brendan Rodgers left on the 27th of October. We're now on the 30th of November.
Effectively the 3rd of December if he stays in the.
It's had to be 5 weeks.
Game,
it's had to be 5 weeks. But who knows? As we know with this club, it's nothing's ever seems to be simple, man.
At least it's no boring, I suppose.
gives us stuff to talk about. That's what I'll say.
Exactly.
No
But
problem. 6
but-
o'clock tonight. Welcome to Celtic. Wolford
Wolford
Nancy,
Nancy,
they're
aye.
coming on here.
it wouldn't surprise me, honestly. But obviously, we'll see what happens on that kind of front. Obviously, Martin O'Neill said he's time for the Dundee game, and then I'm pretty. It's surely after that you would think that
Well,
Wilfred Nancy would be
He
appointed.
did kind of say that, to be fair. But he said on Thursday that the Hibs game would be my last game. So he'll probably be here for the derby in the Thursday.
Martin O'Neill's probably fed up, like having to say this. Like every game's going to be his last, and Must be fed up with it.
I know, exactly. You can tell. He's like, he's getting asked the question every press conference. He's like, I've told you what I think. I can't really say anything else. But no, we'll obviously see what happens on that side. Just to finish up, we'll just obviously kind of do concluding thoughts and obviously man of the match. Alistair, what's your obviously concluding thoughts? Then obviously your man of the match.
I would say we're bogey ground out the road, and I would say look at the away games. We've come through St Mirren, Feyenoord. I know Feyenoord's different. St Mirren, Feyenoord, and Hibs in 1 week. That's a good week, boys. And I know we can complain about we could have controlled the game better, but if I told you last Sunday we'd end up with 9 points, they would have looked you in a pride, by the way, with this squad the way it is at the minute. So job done, move on to Dundee, and Hearts were right behind you.
Aye. What about your man of the match?
Liam Scales.
Right. Liam, what about your thoughts on man of the match?
I'll keep it short. Man of the match was definitely Liam Scales. I thought he was unbelievable. He's been our best player this season. I never thought I'd actually say that. But he's fitting into that role superbly, isn't he? He's grown into it so much, and I've never disliked Liam Scales. I just always thought he was maybe never good enough. But he's starting to grow on me. He's starting to grow on me. But listen, the result was the most important thing. And I see if you told me last week that we'd get 9 points or whatever and win Paisley, Feyenoord, and Easter Road, I would have. No chance. I would have picked like maybe Easter Road and Paisley and took a thumping in Feyenoord if I had to. But to get all the away wins was fantastic.
I know I probably echoes most of their thoughts. I think we've on a bit of consistent run. Obviously, European result midweek, and it's all about for me the next result because I realised that if we win in Feyenoord and get beat today, that Feyenoord result on Thursday for me doesn't really matter, to be honest. I'd be on here ranting and raving, but man of the match for me, I'm going to get Arne Engels. I just think the guys had to put up with some amount of stick from people who are wanting him to fail, I would say. I think he's starting to kind of put a consistent run together, and I hope he can continue that because I've always been on the kind of Arne Engels bandwagon where I've criticised him at times. I don't can say he's wonderful, but I've always been consistent in saying I think there's more to come for the guy, and I think we're starting to see some of that. Obviously, getting the goal,
we're starting to see the personality.
Aye, looks a lot more braver as well, and he's stronger. He just looks a lot better. So I'd get Arne Engels. I just think he's, especially these last 3 games, he's really tried to kick on, and Martin O'Neill seems to be getting something out of him, and hopefully he can continue that. And obviously when Nancy comes in, and hopefully he can get something out of it. But overall, I think it was just we needed to get this winning. Obviously, with Hearts dropping points yesterday, we just had to keep trying to get the wins to try and cut the gap ahead. Obviously, I'm assuming we'll win on Wednesday night. Maybe that's famous last
we would in D1, so I'm quite hopeful we'll do that.
But then obviously getting that game on Sunday against Hearts, I think it was just I said to Alistair in the preview, it's just important to keep, worst case scenario, keep the gap where it was. Obviously we've managed to claw a bit more back, which is obviously great. So overall I think it was a good display. Anyway, anything else anybody wants to speak about before we wrap it up?
I was just going to touch on, see what you said about Engels. I think O'Neill's gave him the confidence to be physical. I think that's what he's been missing, and I think that's probably part of his personality. I think maybe under the previous manager, it was a wee bit. I don't know. He was held back. He was holding back for whatever reason. I don't really know why. I don't know if it was a confidence thing. I don't know if he was getting advised to do so. I really don't know.
Liam, to be
Aye,
honest.
listen, you could be right. You could be right, Alistair. But I think O'Neill's just gave him that wee word in the ear, and it's made such a difference. It's crazy what a few words can do, like positive words can do for someone, for your confidence, encouragement. Massive.
Alistair, anything else before we wrap up?
No, mate, just to let you know, we won him with 2 challengers of that points. So that's a good weekend.
Is that our game in hand on Wednesday? Is that our game in hand?
No, our
no.
game in hand's Tannadice, mate.
Ah, right.
The week after Roma.
Okay.
The week after.
But no, I'll end it on that, I think. But aye, that was post-match reaction following Hibs 1, Celtic 2 today at Easter Road. Thanks to Alistair and Liam for joining me. But we'll be back through the week with build-up to that game on Wednesday night against Dundee at Celtic Park. But until next time, we'll speak to you later. And hail, hail.
Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.